in the upper left-hand corner of the map, we have our red Terran player from the team Evil Geniuses. This is the one and only Spoon Terran himself, Thorzain. And his opponent down in the bottom right-hand corner from Virtus Pro, tying things up on Daybreak, it's Slivko. And I just want to say we've gone Cloud Kingdom, and the Terran player wins. Then we had the Zerg player win on Daybreak, and then come back to Antigua Shipyard at the Terran's request. Both
Protoss
matches.
will win.
Yes, clearly.
Yay, Protoss.
Zaka comes in out of nowhere and avenges his loss from yesterday against Grubby.
4 gates, just flying 4 gate, comes in with just a massive void raise from off the side of the map.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 gateways. There's 4 of them. The Baileys, the Marines. Oh, that's like my favorite part.
I know.
Is the build-up.
I'm sure we'll show that promo to you guys again later, but obviously what he's referencing is that we are actually looking for our next StarCraft 2 full-time caster here at the IGNProLeague. So if you think that you have a shot at that, if you have a favorite caster and you don't think gets enough attention and should enter, then certainly have them send an application over to bit.ly/IPLcasters. All the information is on there, what information you'll need to submit to us. Applications close on October 31st at 11:59 p.m. Pacific on October 31st. So make sure you get in your applications by then. If you want to see our awesome promo video at any time, though, subscribe to our new YouTube channel, youtube.com/IPLesports.
Yeah, and that caster search will actually supplement. Are we going to make that announcement at the end of this cast, maybe?
Well, we are. Okay, so we are actually going to have a new caster come in the meantime, starting on Monday. He is actually going to be, and so does you pronounce it differently than I do?
No, I think that's how he told us he likes it.
Cabells?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cabells, Andrew Dunn is actually going to be joining us here in studio for at least a couple of months to cast a bunch of games for us. So he will officially be part of that competition as well. But in the meantime, obviously, we had Doa departed for Korea. Josh has since gone face first to the first-person shooter world.
Yep.
So we need some help on the StarCraft front.
Yep. Double casting every day, essentially. I mean, Frank has been a champ and stepped in here and there. Yep. But basically double casting every single day since PAX at the beginning of September.
Yep.
It's really taken its toll, and I need some time to do, the job that I'm expected to do on top of that. So Cabells is going to actually come in on Monday, and he'll step right up with Life versus
Life.
Yeah, so I'm actually a little sad. I kind of want to cast at least one game of that, but that's going to be quite a good series for him to jump in on. Life versus Yun and Fight Club on Monday. But yeah, that's going to be my last StarCraft cast for a while. I mean, I'll still be available to back up these guys. But yeah, I'm gonna be casting a lot less StarCraft. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Be ramping up that shoot mania.
Yeah, that'll be fun though. It is nice to do something new and actually try to grow a game from scratch. StarCraft 2 obviously had a huge following the moment it was announced, and Shoot Mania is a new IP, so it's kind of interesting to work on. But right now we do have some action. Thorzain attacking very, very quickly here against Slivko, but it looks like Slivko's got this handled.
He's got a 12-14 barracks he started with, so 2 racks built, and he did cancel the bunker, but now he's got 3 more Marines. He's grouping up with a few more. Looks like Slivko may feel that he is nice and safe now. He's held off any sort of pressure, but here come the 3 Marines once again. They can actually take out a queen fairly quickly, especially with his reinforcements. Yeah,
if Automaton 2000 is in the mix, that's always a possibility of blowing him up right on top of the queen and doing a quadrillion damage, I think is how much it does when it blows up.
So, yes.
But only to itself.
Right.
And it only has 10 HP, so usually that does destroy it.
Could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can throw a giant growth or 2 on that, but anyway.
Or a dramatic rescue him and just play him again the next turn.
There you go.
That's really all you got to do.
Easy game.
Yeah.
3 command centers in total coming up for Thorzain. He's used this build before. 2 racks into 3 command centers as he tries to, or he thinks about putting on some pressure here in a bit. Slivko just going to run right on past those Marines, and Thorzain shouldn't chase after those, but try and move up and pick off one of these queens.
That would be a nice pickup if he can do it, but with 3 queens, actually 4 queens there to be able to stop that, and the ability to build lings. We've got Roach Warren about halfway done. That window's closing pretty quickly for him to get in and do that damage. It looks like he's still going to move forward, though, as he is moving up the ramp right now. We'll see if he's going to find one of these queens in time.
Oh, he kills both of the active creep tumors, which is nice.
Kill him or cancel him? Oh, he must have killed
him because these aren't active ones.
All right, well, that's at least a minor pickup for the waiting around Marines to be able to do something beneficial, but Banelingness actually coming up now for Slivko. It's going to give him a Warren and a Banelingness both to work with. and Thorzain's building another command center.
So we'll see if he does the same sort of pressure, and it's going to be, you know, this into a third base after making about 10 to 12 roaches, about 20 to 25 zerglings, eventually into banelings, and then start droning up and go to a third base, or if this is just going to be the little more hardcore variant of this. And we do actually have layer tech now on the way.
Yeah, the third base he built last time was about 6 minutes and 20-ish seconds, so he's actually way beyond that point. He's a bit scared, I think, of trying to add on that third base before he's ready and giving Thorzain an opportunity to get in free damage. So he is playing very cautiously. Ling speed is not even done yet. He did decide to spend a lot of gas on layer pretty quickly, so it looks like he did delay Ling speed quite a lot. We've got 2 evolution chambers coming up now, but Thorzain did not go for that Stargate or Starport with Banshee play this time around, instead focusing heavily on his bio units.
That's right. He also did a similar sort of thing on Cloud Kingdom and then transitioned up into a late game just air tech, air Terran build. So Sky Terran, that's the word I was looking for. I knew there was a phrase for it.
Air Terran.
Air Terran, the Aaron build. Don't know why that just went back to my home state of Missouri there for a second. But,
Aaronville?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do mean the, because it's weird, because like Missouri is kind of the crossover point from people who are, you know, quote unquote Midwest, or people who are from the South.
Yep.
So, because towards the southern part of the states,
southern.
Half my relatives talk like this.
The Hatfields.
Yes. And then the other half, of course, just, you know, have like that clean Missouri,
dialect,
like the journalist style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The preferred dialect, because it is more accent neutral.
Yeah.
I actually have accent neutral. I lived in South Carolina my whole life, and people are like, "You're from South Carolina. Why don't you sound like a hick?" And it's like, well, both my parents are from Missouri and Nebraska, so I was raised with the neutral accent. And I tell people I'm from Canada, so I don't actually do that. I did for a while. Yeah, they asked if I was Canadian. I did not correct them because I didn't want to talk about George Bush all the time. But either way, we've got a lot of Marines attacking in for Thorzain, but there are a handful of banelings to be able to defend against this Slivko with plenty of units to try and stop it. Actually, he's going for a little... No, I didn't think that was a good idea to try and loop around and stop those Marines. I think all those lings would have just died, and the banelings would not have had a chance to get in there.
Okay, well, Thorzain escapes without taking all that much damage. He picks off 1 active creep tumor, I guess. But otherwise, a draw and forces a lot of banelings out of his opponent, which is nice because every one of those banelings, in addition to the 25 minerals per zergling, costs another 25 minerals, 25 gas. So that's quite the resource dump there for Slivko.
Yeah, he's got more and more units hitting the field. He is staying slightly ahead in supply of Thorzain and spending his gas and minerals pretty efficiently. He's staying well below 200 most of the time there. You can see a big bump of minerals at the moment. He is going to be able to lean on zerglings as that mineral dump. There he goes, actually building 22 more as I say it. And we've got upgrades rolling for Thorzain, moving into a very normal mid-game composition, getting siege tech about the time you'd expect for a heavy bio plus, a smattering of tanks, maybe 4 or 5 tanks to roll along with a ton of Marines. We'll see how this ends up changing, but Lair is already moving to Hive as that first Spire is getting put up.
Yeah, so pretty early on. Thorzain, going with pretty much the same build that we saw out of him in game number 1, and we'll see if he decides to put down a second armory here in just a bit once this +1 weapons for the for the mech forces is underway. Start to hit with a couple of strikes of Marines and plays for that late game air tech. That was a very clever build, and I'd actually like to see it in action again.
Yeah, it's very possible that he could do it again. At the moment, though, it looks like he's just focusing on upgrades across the board, getting 7 Marines at a time. Soon he'll be at that Lucifron mark of 9 at a time, just constantly churning out with those minerals. Banelings not being the super effective here. Wow, he's killing not a lot with those. I mean, he does get through a lot in the end, but those banelings, those first trades were pretty bad as he was trading multiple banelings for 1 Marine at a time. But look at this. Oh, Thorzain, where is your defense, man? He is just getting rocked at this third base.
All right, he clears up everything outside of his natural, but you're right, his third base gets obliterated. He's down 21 workers, 22 have been killed by Slivko so far, and he doesn't really have a whole lot to come over and defend against this.
Oh, Siege Tank Blast. I was like, that Baneling just exploded itself for no reason.
No, you have so much to live for, like 5 more seconds.
Yeah, but no, it was a Siege Tank Blast to finish that off. Either way, like Thorzain just had no D prepared for that that base, and now he is dropping into Slivko's third. Slivko does not have vision of this, and his entire army's in the middle of the map right now, so it's going to take him a while to respond, even if it's just with Speedlings. Oh, the Queen walks over, and the Tumor gets killed immediately, so he has plenty of time to come and respond to this before Thorzain actually does any damage with those Marines. Sneak attack failed.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
Just like watching the creep tumor.
Creep tumor's like, whoa, my poop just exploded.
She's not even through the animation of pooping before the creep tumor's gone. So it's a problem.
Like, it was a phantom poop.
Yes.
Man.
Got to be aware of those phantom poops.
I guess she just needed to fart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
we're so high class.
God. I didn't design this game. I didn't make creep tumors come from a queen's rear end. Like they could have come from anywhere.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. What else were they going to like throw them up?
I don't know. Yeah, that's typically the other option. Maybe they could have opened their chest open. I don't know. They're Zerg. They're just alien creatures. It doesn't matter how they animate them.
I suppose so. Yeah. I'll allow it. Okay, Thorzain does not have stim done. It's finishing in 2 seconds.
Oh,
yeah, there
drones.
It is.
Goodbye. Running into the combine there.
And Thorzain now has stim, gets himself into a pretty good position here, and decides to just pick off all the drones at first, which is kind of clever.
Yeah, not a bad
picks
move.
up and goes into the main.
Not enough Corruptors here to be able to kill those down quickly enough. He does kill some Marines still inside there, and will do it again for this other medevac, but you know, these things remaining on the ground are killing a lot of drones. There's nothing here to respond to this. You see the huge light blue stripe running across the minimap. Wow, that's kind of scary looking actually, but these Marines just killed a ton of drones with no response.
Yes, they did, and that worker's killed. That was 1 to 22 a second ago. Well, it's 33 to 23 now, and Thorzain is right back in there in economy.
Bad day to be a worker at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got over 50 workers killed overall in this game 3, and it's going to continue rising with Thorzain versus Slivko just slugging it out basically over and over. And there's the 4 starports. It looks like you're going to get your wish, but you know, maybe Slivko will be slightly better prepared for it this time. If he saw it once already, he can prepare. I don't know how he's going to do it because, you know, Broodlords and Corruptors do very well while clumped up.
Yes.
So it could be difficult to spread them out against Seeker missiles if they do show up here soon.
Okay, so let's see. As Thorzain flies away, he's going back to 5 command centers and really wants to take control of the middle of the map soon. Needs to get a 4th base so we can at least get the gas income to support all the Ravens, Vikings, etc. that he'll be producing. First Corruptors are hitting the field. Let's see here. There are actually only 3 in addition to the 6 that were turned into Broodlords, so a handful of Corruptors have been made. These actually come out a little bit faster than they did in game number 1, so Thorzain has a little bit less time to build up that Viking count, but it's still getting there.
Still a bad day to be a worker. This day just won't end.
No.
Anti-worker day. Look at the drones, why?
No!
Why?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that was awful. Oh, because he's responding to multiple things. Okay,
yes.
So, ooh, big fungal and Baneling Blast there, but those drones, how many drones does he still have on the field? It can't even be that many. 67, where are they all hiding? I guess he still does have 3 other fully functional bases, but man, that was just brutal to watch.
He's lost 54 of them already.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty significant amount. Looks like everything in the middle of the map is getting destroyed, and Thorzain will finally be able to take another base and turn that into a planetary fortress momentarily. Slivko gathering up all his forces, but he's got to make sure he doesn't allow this strategy to get off the ground again. I think he was a little bit too passive in game number 1, and all those Vikings just kind of gathered up and then just steamrolled everything that was in the air.
That's true. I mean, I really don't think Slivko is going to want to continue with that. He actually hasn't built any more Corruptors or Broodlords in a while, so maybe he's got an idea for how to deal with the mass Vikings and Ravens that we might be seeing here soon. That involves just a lot of ground forces, but so far, yeah, he's basically stopped with the Broodlord production and is just going back into Infestors and replacing all the drones that he keeps having die.
These drops are so good. Now,
yeah.
58 workers have been killed, which means that there's been a total of 143 workers that have been produced in this game by Slivko.
He just loads up those medevacs so fast, and now he's back in the natural here, doing quite a lot of damage again, taking another queen. Oh yeah, this is actually the main, killing off a lot of drones. There's still a lot of drones here for how mined out it is, but he's going to to finish off all of these, stop that gas income as well. 74 drones already taken out. He's going to get a couple more here if they don't run away. Even while fungal, they're going to continue to shoot and kill drones. Look at that. They're going to get all of them.
Yeah, that's very impressive. There's been an even 100 drones now, or 100 workers now killed in this game, and there's still 81 drones out for Slivko. So he's done a good job of keeping those up, but the whole time Thorzain has just been amassing this enormous force.
Yep, he's getting the composition he wants. He's not going for the Ravens this time. He just built enough Vikings to deal with Broodlords that he knew were out there already, and still keeping a very balanced composition. 18 Vikings is a lot, but 40 Marines are very versatile, and those tanks on the ground are going to help out with Lings, Banelings, and Infestors. So this big clash is going to be an interesting one. The Vikings, after they chew through their targets, they're going to have to land, and they might not be that valuable to Thorzain on the ground, but these drops are just continuing. He's just shooting an extractor at this point. He's not even really controlling this and still managing to kill a bunch of drones. Here we go. The engagement has begun. Vikings trying to take out the Corruptors at the front line so that they have access to those juicy Broodlords, you know, the cream filling, so to speak, of this Zerg siege push. Now the Corruptors are gone. The crunchy outer shell has been dissolved, and these juicy Broodlord Center is available for Thorzain. But actually, good fungals are landing on the Vikings this time, and Slivko still has a pretty sizable force on the ground.
Resources continue to accumulate for both our players now. Thorzain doing what he can with the available production structures there.
Those Vikings were clumped so well, but no energy for fungals is left.
Slivko making another 13 Corruptors at the same time, and he was continuing to be dropped through the whole process. He lost another base.
That's pretty terrible. Slivko is, you know, really having a struggle to keep those bases alive, but he is actually going to manage to kill a couple of siege tanks. The Vikings are still finishing off the Broodlords. The Infestors, at this rate, will run out of energy at some point. They're going to kill some stuff with the Infested Marines. Some Vikings actually look like they're going to get taken out. Now that the Vikings have landed, there's really not any fighting forces here aside from those Infested Marines, and they're not even going to kill all the Vikings.
Nope. Wow. Yeah, the energy is actually about to run out of these infested Terrans. So they will disappear here momentarily. And a couple of those Infestors did actually die on their way out. They didn't have enough energy for an Infested Terran a second ago.
No.
Much less anything else like fungal, something that's useful.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, actually. Thorzain not getting any damage done to his mining the whole time this game has been going on. He's basically been protected inside of his base. 6 more Broodlords are in production now, so Thorzain is going to have to continue that Viking production. But check that out. Supply blocking Slivko at 24 minutes into the game is pretty rude, pretty harsh for Slivko to be able to deal with.
Yeah, this is an uphill battle now. Thorzain has a pretty good grasp on this game, and he's done a pretty good job with the hand that was dealt him. I mean, there was a little bit of damage that was traded back and forth at the beginning, but these drops have just been magnificent. How many workers has he killed altogether? 87. 87. Well, there was a moment when it was 22 workers killed to 1.
Yeah.
So he's killed 86 workers for the next 3 that his opponent killed.
That's right. So Slivko just has not had any openings to be able to do damage to Thorzain. Thorzain is going to be dropping again here on this far left base. There are Spore Crawlers in place now, but he's got enough units on the ground that he can just push forward and slam through those without the medevacs really being in any danger. We do have a bunch of Lings trying to respond to this, and they might be able to clear everything out. I'm not sure what the Corruptor count looks like. It looks like there are enough to destroy those medevacs, but the hatch goes down in just seconds, and Thorzain's force will actually get cleaned out. I was surprised that Slivko was able to get it dealt with that quickly, but did lose the hatch.
That's right. So now he's down to just 3 bases, only one of which is mining. He's trying to reestablish this one, but unfortunately, this medevac is once again back in for Thorzain. It looks like he's going to take another base with him.
Okay, as he moves in, yeah, there's just nothing here to be able to defend that. Slivko was just stretched all the way to the opposite side of the map with the bulk of his forces. He's going to respond with some speedlings, but even they might not be enough. Thorzain's units are upgraded fully, and this medevac has such good mobility that he can just keep doing this forever. He's not building really anything anymore except Marines, tanks, and medevacs. The Viking count has essentially just stopped. He hasn't built any in a while. More drones actually getting picked off on their way back home. 98 workers killed for Thorzain.
Well done. I saw red in the middle of the map, but of course, just changelings. naturally. So let's see, as Thorzain posts up here in the middle of the map, this is the good spot to have because you can start assaulting this this drone line once again.
Aww.
And there's nothing really that Slivko needs more than more dead drones.
Yep, triple-digit worker kills here for Thorzain. Has to feel good about that. Slivko has not been able to stabilize because of just the constant aggression. Thorzain actually needs to, be a little bit wary. I'm not sure why those infested Marines are just dropped on the low ground there, near where the siege tanks would be blasting anyway, but the Broodlord's going to move forward. The Vikings are all around him, doing a full concave right now. Infestors can't even really get up onto the high ground, so they are going to fungal blindly and try to launch all these infested Marines to try and push back this big force of Thorzain. Looks like Corruptors do finally get a little bit of headway, taking out some Vikings, but Thorzain's forces are split. He's attacking the space again and killing more and more drones as they try to run away. This is just horrific. A day to be a drone.
But that was part of what Slivko needed to start kind of turning the tide. He needs to be able to do economic damage to Thorzain right now. And there are so many production facilities up for Thorzain. They can utilize his resources so quickly. And Slivko finally does convincingly beat the army in the middle of the map, but he needs to follow this up, and he just can't.
Yeah, he doesn't have the income. His minerals are going to be his great limiter here. He's got one Baneling in production and not a whole lot else, having to rebuild those bases all the time without enough static defense to be able to save him is getting just really, really hard to deal with. And Thorzain has those two bases in the top right that he's just mining freely from. No real aggression from any of those. It looks like maybe some infestors might be headed over there to try and do some damage in the top right.
Just watching more workers get killed for a
they're
second.
just changelings, never mind. So changelings aren't going to do anything about that. More workers getting slaughtered, 116 workers killed. 117 is my favorite number, so he can't quite reach that yet, but I'm sure it will pass it very soon.
New high score, new high score. I don't know. I just feel like this is an arcade game now.
You are the insult master.
Yes. You have done really well. You have, oh my God. I mean, that looks, what is it, the total at now? 116. So he's made 159 workers in this game.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of larvae amount.
Yep, so he's going to kill a lot of lings as well. Fungal goes down on the Marines. Slivko just seems lost at this point. He's not able to roll any upgrades. He just has to devote everything back into units. He's only got +2 armor, and these Broodlords could just fall to pure Marine medevac at this point.
All right. Well, this
he
is
passed 117.
Yeah, there you go. 122 now. All right, well done. Slivko, he still has a pretty scary army, but now it's being reduced. I mean, the longer he waits, the more ahead that Thorzain gets. And we all know that Thorzain is not going to move out until he feels that the moment is absolutely right.
That's true. He just doesn't do that. And, he's been posted up in the middle for so long, killing bases left and right, literally left and right, left and right, left and right, just back and forth. Pulling Slivko apart from the sides, that he just has not been able to drive the stake into the heart yet. You know what I mean? Just posting up over and over, allowing Slivko enough time to get those infestors and push back a little bit. We do see nukes, so that could be the stake he needs to drive into the heart of Slivko, but we'll see if that's going to end up even happening, as sometimes, you get some nukes built and they just don't really do a whole lot, but there's a possibility for him to get some damage done with that.
And he does have a nice cleanup on this drop here to the right-hand side, or I should say Slivko does. So we'll see if he can start to stabilize for a second, maybe start to rally things back, but man, just on 38 workers. We see the units killed. We see the resources lost. That's a
30,000
huge number.
Even for Thorzain. That's kind of a ridiculous number, but now more Marines getting taken out. Still didn't. I don't know if he has any workers left to kill. Like, he's got 40-something workers on the field, but it's just it's just doesn't even matter at this point. He's not going to be able to build that hatchery. Are you kidding me? Here we go. Lings coming in here to try and kill this force. Drone might get picked off. No.
Stay alive, drone. Stay alive.
Nope.
No, he kills it. We're saying murdering drones left and right, and puts him up to an even 130.
Very nice. All right, so the nuke is done. Personal cloaking is done. Mobius reactor will be done in just a second. And these ghosts will be benefiting from all of those upgrades and the ability to drop nukes. There's one in the tank. Lots of Vikings still being produced, lots of bio, including Marines. And Slivko just not producing anything and nowhere near close to max at the moment.
All right, well, Slivko looks like he's just going to throw everything into cleaning up this army. Are the ghosts ready? They launch off a couple of EMPs to try and limit some of those infestors up at the front. I haven't seen a nuke launch quite yet. The full army is engaging. The Corruptors off to the left are already being neutralized by the vast majority of the Vikings. However, Funky Gross have come back and significantly decreased the amount of life that these Vikings have. And Thorzain actually is going to lose this army in the middle of the map, but his economy is so staggering he can just reproduce it extremely quickly.
Yeah, there's no detection here, which is kind of funny because the Ghost actually just lasted that entire time cloaked and had 8 kills to his name or something like that, but no nuke. And actually Slivko has brought in the supply a lot closer now, but still he's going to have to replace some very expensive units, and he's not in a great position to do that, while Thorzain has a ton of money and a ton of income and only 25 workers killed rather than 133, so he's going to bounce right back. Big fungal on these Vikings medevac saying bunches of ghosts. You can hear the snipes going down on the Broodlords and Infestors, and they're doing a great job neutralizing those. This might actually be Thorzain's chance to just continue reinforcing this push and have the ability to get into Slivko's main. But no, there's the GG.
GG. 140 workers killed at the end. Had to take a look at it.
Yikes.
So, wow. Okay, what a kind of dominating performance from Thorzain from beginning to end there.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him. He advances into the round of 8 now at the GSL World Championship Qualifier.
Yeah, and that's not even all the series we have today. So Vortex versus Mana still has to happen. We've seen Lucifron and Thorzain. That's 2 Terran players already advancing, but this next match doesn't have Terran players. So we'll see our first Protoss player of the day, Mal's Mana, and see what he's able to accomplish. He had a stint in Korea recently where he turned some heads, beat some good Korean players, but then kind of fell short of his goal. Either way, but he did play some amazing games while in Korea, and Vortex, does not actually have any experience in Korea as far as I'm aware.
Not yet.
Yeah,
no.
so we'll see if that's paid off for Mana to get past. Vortex was second place WCS Europe.
Yeah, second place WCS Europe. He won WCS Spain. So obviously he's done some great work. He was still top 8 at DreamHack Valencia too. So the guy, he's been playing really, really well. We'll see what he can do after this though against one of the best foreign Protoss players out there, Mouse Mana. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our third and final set of the night after this.